I'd really love to see Abel produce more movies, maybe not write and star in them. Well, what's up, everyone? I got the headphones on, so you know that means that we're here to talk about some new music. Well, not really. Hurry Up Tomorrow is The Weeknd's new album, as well as his new movie project, which has recently been released. A huge fan of The Weeknd, but if I'm being honest, I actually wasn't a huge fan of Hurry Up Tomorrow, the album, when it first was dropped. I know, don't send the angry mob after me. Although Abel's singing was really good, and although the production was great as always, a lot of that cinematic and operatic elements didn't really work when I'm just kind of listening to it by myself without any of the scenes. The movie does a really good job of providing the extra scenes and context so it doesn't feel like fluff or filler. This movie is directed by Trey Edward Schultz, who is famous for directing the 2019 movie Waves, which is actually free here on YouTube, so I'll put a link down in the doobly-doo for anyone who's interested in seeing his directorial style. He's really great at using strong lighting choices as well as motion to create a sense of tension, which is where I get into spoiler territory. Here's your chance to leave before I reveal the twist ending. You've been warned. So this whole thing was a dream. Or maybe it was a drug-induced nightmare, maybe it's purgatory. Either way, this is exactly what The Weeknd's music has been talking about over his past couple of albums. Themes of these self-destructive cycles. When all is said and done at the end of this movie, The Weeknd gets up, walks up on stage, and presumably does everything all over again. And I think this project is probably the most intimate the audience has ever gotten to the Weeknd character / persona outside of an album. And I believe this symbolizes the ecosystem that rewards his self-destructive behavior. Let's talk about the characters. The Weeknd plays himself in this, so there isn't a whole ton of acting range that he needs to put out. He kind of just needs to do what he always does, and he does a pretty good job at doing it. Barry Keoghan plays his friend, who has been with Abel since he decided to drop out of school and pursue music. I'm also assuming that he's his drug dealer. Maybe he's just an enabler, because it seems like whenever Abel starts feeling a bit of distress, he'll give him some heavy drugs and find a way to keep him going. He even feeds into the grandiosity of The Weeknd's self-image, telling him that he's not a normal person and that he's bigger than all that's going on around him. The Weeknd is stressing out about a girl, and he calls her on the phone originally and is pleading, and after the conversation he has with Barry Keoghan's character, who none of these people have arcs, I don't remember their names, I'm just going to refer to them as the actors' names. After he has that conversation with him, he calls her back and is more on this like domineering, calls himself a fucking icon, and he's going to live on forever while she's going to be forgotten. So again, totally feeding into that grandiosity. We're introduced to Jenna Ortega's character, burning down her house and running away from home. I spent a good chunk of this movie trying to figure out what her relationship was to Abel. I was playing with theories that maybe she's Valerie's ghost or Valerie's sister or something. Then I came to realize that she's probably just a crazed fan. Or is she? After seeing the ending, I think Jenna Ortega's character is a reflection of Abel's treatment to not only women, but to himself. He scoops her up at one of his shows, spends his intimate night together with her, tells her that he needs her and doesn't want her to leave, only to wake up in the morning and goes right back to his superstar lifestyle. Yeah, I never said my acting was any good, but this genuinely had me cracking up in the theater. But this is what The Weeknd has always been making music about. It just seems like this time it came to bite him back in the ass. So she knocks him unconscious after this, and she ties him to the bed straight on some like Stephen King Misery type shit. She starts performing his songs back to him and starts asking him if he understands the lyrical depth of the songs that he wrote. Like, genuinely great laughs out of this moment, even though I don't know if it's meant to be funny or scary or not, but I thought it was hilarious. This brings me to the main thesis of the film. I think again that this is more of a symbolic reflection of The Weeknd's character. There are homages to several moments in his earlier career, such as only wanting the girl when he's coming down from his high. Even the ending scene right before the album cover shot kind of does this walk that is very reminiscent of the music video for The Hills. This ecosystem of money, drugs, women, fame allows The Weeknd to not only continue to operate in his self-destructive behavior, but it outright rewards him for it. We get to see what happens when he starts spiraling in real time. Abel has always used visuals to not only aid his musical concepts, but to also compel them to be something even larger. My favorite example of this is the After Hours rollout, where he used all the different videos with a similar visual motif and the costume to tie all of them together thematically. I love how, going back to probably the Kissland era, he always borrowed from horror films to build this universe of his brand. I think it's clear that The Weeknd is a student of the craft, both in being a pop star and as a film producer. He knows how to use visual branding and identity to bring an idea to life. Unfortunately, his talent for the storytelling medium film leaves a lot to be desired. Specifically, I think we should have gotten more definitive character arcs, so I could have gotten a little more catharsis when we finally got to the ending. I'd really love to see Abel produce more movies, maybe not write and star in them. For those wondering how this compares to The Idol, Abel's acting is only marginally better, but he plays himself, so it goes a lot farther here. Personally, I didn't think The Idol was really bad. I just think it was better suited for a tight 1 hour 45 minutes to 2 hour long film versus a miniseries. And after watching this, I feel a little bit more supported because these projects have a similar ethos and both try to go for that twist ending, but Hurry Up Tomorrow doesn't overstay its welcome. Personally, I think the soundtrack for The Idol might have been better, but you can agree or disagree with me in the comments. Bye!